Welcome. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Nada St. Germain, and tonight's topic is, I think it's very important. It's such a challenge all over the world. So many people are struggling with mental health. And when I was introduced to Neolife over 33 years ago, it wasn't as common, or maybe what I should say is it wasn't talked about as much. And when I was on the police force working long hours and shift work, I remember being tired and I remember feeling really down whenever I had to go into work. And I know it had to do with lack of sleep and shift work. And you're going to hear how sleep is really important when you're dealing with mental health. That's definitely a part of the healing journey. But when I looked at Neolife 33 years ago, the impact the products made in my health, especially dealing with stress of my job, it really, really helped me. And I saw such a difference. So I'm hoping tonight, between Maryellen and I, and some of the stories you're going to hear, you're going to have a better understanding how good quality supplements, uh, good nutrition plays a really important role in how you deal with stress and how you can manage mental health. So I'd like to welcome Maryellen Vandenbrink, our holistic nutritionist that's joining us tonight. That's going to kick off our night. So thank you, Maryellen, for joining us.
Thank you, Nada. I was introduced to Neolife over 30 years ago. And although my son had a lot of respiratory issues, as you mentioned, because of the health issues, it causes stress and it caused him, a lot of, anxiety and worry because with having these health issues. And, as you said, once you clean up your diet and get on a good lifestyle and add Neolife, it makes such a difference. And it was huge with him. It made him, so much better. Just changed the side. And when we look at mental illness, it's kind of shocking. It's like 47.6 million North Americans, which means like 1 in 5 people are formally diagnosed every single year. Over 49,000 people died by suicide in 2022, and there's one death every 11 minutes. So this is a really serious problem. And 13.2 million seriously thought of suicide, and 1.6 million attempted suicide. And I'm sure we all know somebody who's been affected by this. And so, where can we get some protection from mental health? Well, a strong community and family support is crucial, very, very important, because you don't want the person to feel alone. Consistent, good quality sleep, as Nada mentioned, very, very important. The body can't heal, the brain can't be supported if we're tired. In fact, many doctors, the number one health complaint is fatigue, and then it usually leads to depression. Exercising regularly is really important, and access to quality health care, very, very important. So, when you look at mental health, what causes it? Well, biology is definitely a factor, a genetic predisposition. It's often based on family history or sometimes exposure to alcohol or drugs in the womb. Psychology, sometimes a stressful event, such as a traumatic experience, can alter people's psychology and lead to mental health issues. One of the well known ones is PTSD. You hear that a lot, especially from people in the military or have had a traumatic event happen. And this can include anxiety and depression. And things like social or environmental factors, like the type of home someone grew up in, maybe a relationship, especially if you're in an abusive relationship, or even work environment, that all affects our mental health. So, where does nutrition play a role? Well, an anti inflammatory diet and dietary supplements can actually play a huge role. As you know, we never say that Neolife products treat, cure, or diagnose any disease, but it's amazing what the body can do when it has the right support. These two factors actually help prevent or treat depression and anxiety. Dietary supplements help reduce the effects of medications, because as you know, a lot of these medications have a lot of side effects. And dietary supplements can be used to treat some of the causes of mental health disorders. So they definitely play a huge role in complementing a healthy lifestyle. So let's talk a little bit about those neurotransmitters. You hear that a lot. What they do is they regulate energy, mood, memory, attention, appetites, and our stress response. Scientists have actually discovered over 100 neurotransmitters in 86 billion neurons. So there's a lot of them. But there's four key ones that are important in mental health. The serotonin, that's your happiness, focus, and calm. Dopamine, That's where you feel reward or motivation. That's a hard one to say. Cognitive function and stress reactions, and GABA, which produces a calming effect. So when you look at a lot of the commonly prescribed medications, the main areas of serotonin research actually provide no consistent evidence of there being association between serotonin and depression, and no support of the hypotheses that depression is caused by lowered serotonin activity or concentrations. This was proven, Dr. Beck brought this forward, and its studies have shown antidepressants improve symptoms in only about 20 out of 100 people. So it's a very, very small amount considering how much mental health issues there is out there and how much they're prescribed. And when you look at some of the side effects of them, things like dry mouth, nausea, nervousness, insomnia, drowsiness, headaches, dizziness, pretty serious side effects. And one thing they don't have listed here is most of the time people put on a lot of weight when they're on antidepressants as well. And when you look at our brain, it depends on all those powerful nutrients, things like you see fruits and vegetables and omega-3s, and because we are what we eat, and our brain is definitely reflects that. And as you know, we need to drink enough water. You think your brain is made up of 75% water. And if it gets dehydrated, it creates inflammation and it can affect everything in the brain. So when you look at nutrition and brain function, if antidepressants don't help everyone, what can we do? Well, you can't have a healthy brain with a poor diet. You got to eat right. The food you eat every day is foundation of your body for life. And it's interesting that more people are likely to suffer depression if born after 1945 than before 1914. And this is caused by increased pollution and of course, the deterioration of our diet. And we're going to talk a lot about what's taken out of our foods. So what are the 3 risk factors? Well, one of the biggest one is the gut microbiome dysfunction. You're starting to hear a lot about the role that the gut plays in the body. Chronic stress, it just exhausts us. And blood sugar regulation, very, very important. And, when I was introduced to Neolife, I thought I ate right. But what I didn't understand was not only wasn't I getting everything that I needed from my diet, but a lot of our foods don't contain the nutrients. And in a study of nearly 21,500 people, not even one got just the 10 specific essential nutrient researchers were looking for in a regular diet. And a lot of it's not our fault because you look at it, 2 independent studies show incredible nutrient depletion in our food in the last 50 years. For example, in a serving of spinach, the iron is now 21% less, vitamin A is 38% less, and vitamin C is 60% less. So that's a huge deficiency from what we used to have. And when you look at your mood and food, this was an article in Time magazine. And it cites a 2010 study that women who ate diets high in vegetables, fruit, fish, whole grains were less likely to suffer from depression. And as you know, we talk about these nutrients all the time in Neolife. And Nada, would you like to share how we can fill that gap of the grains?
Yeah, and you know what, Maryellen, this is where I realized that when I looked at Neolife, the whole grain story is what drew me to the company, mainly for my hormones, balancing and regulating hormones. I really thought I was eating healthy and getting everything from my food, but I didn't realize that our grains were destroyed. And that's one thing that really helped me, and especially when it came to energy. And when I saw, what or learned about this grain oil and these lipids and the importance of it, I was like shocked that, I didn't know about this. And people just didn't know about this because they used to grow the wheat, grind the wheat, make the flour, and make the bread. But they decided, or they discovered, that if they remove these oils from the grain, they can make everything have a longer shelf life. They mill all our flours. You're left with this kind of flour product, starch, protein, gluten. And so many people have sensitivities now to wheat and grain products because of what man has done to wheat. And when you look at these essential lipids that they remove, they're essential. That's why they call them essential fatty acids. And this is something that is one of the greatest deficiencies all over the world. Our breads last weeks, our pastas last forever, and our cereals last years. So that's one, again, something that plays a key role in mental health because these grain oils help everything work better. They help your cells work better. They are the building blocks to cell membrane structure, brain and nerve function, hormones. So if you're not as healthy, if your cells aren't healthy, you're not healthy. If your hormones are out of whack, then you have a really hard time dealing with stress. And that's where mental health can really play a big role. And these grain oils, they surround every cell in your body to allow nutrients, sorry, yeah, every cell to allow nutrients in and waste out. So keeping the cell membrane soft and permeable, because we don't have these oils in our diet, your cells look like the ones on the left. And all the nutrients are going in and all of the waste is going out. So it's a real challenge. It's a big struggle. And so supplementation is definitely something that's needed. But man, who do you trust? There's so many challenges out there in the nutrition world. In 2020, the FDA found drugs in nearly 50 dietary supplements sold on Amazon. There was an aloe product with no evidence of aloe vera. They found hidden dangers in some products. 776 products contain hidden active ingredients that were unsafe or unstudied. There was a consumer lab in 2022 where they found 68% of pills, powders tested no authentic elderberry. And then a new study of protein powders elevated levels of heavy metals and BPA. So you just don't know. And that was in 53 leading brands. So you really need to know where you're getting your products from. And that's why when I looked at Neolife, I was so happy that it was a company I could trust. They'd been around since 1958, a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing. So they test all of our foods. And we're regulated like drugs, even though we're not drugs, established in over 50 countries, a pioneer in the industry. And we have the most respected research team, scientific team, that their whole philosophy is based in nature and backed by science. And these are the drivers behind our excellence, our scientific advisory board. They work together to develop and manufacture our products. Dr. Arthur First, he put together this amazing group of scientists, and he was, he ran the scientific advisory board, headed that scientific advisory board for over 25 years. He founded the Cancer Chemotherapy Laboratory. He led the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board because he believed in food. He believed that supplementation was the way to go. And after he, developed chemo, he was the founder of oral chemotherapy. He knew there was a better way. He knew that our food and our diet played a key role in slowing aging, preventing disease, and even reversing some of these diseases through dietary changes. But he knew we were struggling with our food. So he shifted his focus to prevention and ending the trend of chronic disease. And Maryellen and I, we actually met Dr. First, actually many of us that are on tonight. And we meet the scientists, we hear from them. And in December, one of our scientists is doing a special talk for us in person on Zoom. Highly recommend that you could join in and listen so you can see the power of the science. Incredible science, notable studies. We've been published in several third-party credible studies, so peer-reviewed medical journals. And that's really important as well. So it's not just Neolife studies. The third-party credibility is so important. And we're not just natural, we're based on whole food. We use real food to make all of our supplements, and that's really important. Now, when you're looking at our diet and mental health, I mean, there's so many symptoms, especially if you're struggling with gluten. And sometimes gluten and milk intolerance also plays a factor in mental health. We recommend getting tested for food sensitivities just in case, because sometimes this can play a factor and play a role. Eat a clean and healthy, rich diet in whole grains and raw fruits and veggies, nuts, legumes, and beans. Again, rich in omega-3, filtered water, complex carbs, low sugar foods. Avoid caffeine, or again, everything in moderation. And then sugar, pop, refined foods, chips, anything processed. This is something that truly plays a really big role when it comes to mental health. So what do we eat? Well, what is good to eat? Well, when you're looking at whole food, berries, right? Oatmeal, salmon, spinach, navy beans, broccoli, all of these like wonderful vegetables, low sugar foods. We recommend mini meals with protein combinations because protein plays such a big role in your brain. And if you can't get these in your diet every day, you must supplement to bridge the gap. And that's where whole food supplements play such a big role. So Neolife does have an amazing multivitamin pack called Pro Vitality, and it has amazing products to fill the gap, right? That's what we want to focus on. So we talked about the grains and the lipids. That's one of the nutrients that's in this amazing Pro Vitality pack. It's a daily pack. And what I really appreciate about this pack, it's convenient, it's easy, it's simple. One pack a day helps to fill the nutritional gaps in your fruits and veggies, the lipids, vitamins and minerals, and omega-3s. So Tray&N was that first product we talked about, those essential lipids that was scientifically proven to make your cells work better. So you're getting one of these grain oils in this vitamin pack. Again, studies show that there's dangers in what we're missing, these lipids and sterols. And there was a study that was done and published in a magazine in 1994. A medical doctor made a powerful statement that food manufacturers remove these spoilage-prone compounds, essential fatty acids from pasta, bread, and breakfast cereal in order to lengthen the shelf life. And he stated that it's perhaps the most important health problem in America. Then there's our fruits and veggies. And Maryllen's going to talk quite a bit about fruits and veggies a little later and about the microbiome. But what's really cool about this product, one of these in this pack, incredible. Even after 1 month, it's like eating 80 pounds of fruits and vegetables in that Pro Vitality pack. And almost 90% of Americans do not meet the vegetable intake recommendations from 5 to 13 servings a day. This was clinically proven to boost your immune system 37%. In just 20 days. Protects your cells, optimizes immunity, great for eye health, prevents oxidative damage, and protects against DNA damage. So this is such an amazing product. Lipid soluble antioxidants, protects your cells. So important, and also for the microbiome that Maryllen's going to talk about. Omega-3 fish oil also balances your cells, reduces inflammation. A lot of studies on inflammation and mental health. And the Neolife salmon oil is tested for 200 contaminants, zero tolerance. It has all 8 omega-3s and clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. Clinical depression associated with 30% increase of inflammation of the brain, according to a study published in JAMA Psychiatry. Neuroscience News in September of 2017, brain inflammation linked to suicidal thinking and depression. So that's why omega-3s play such a big role. And there's a lot of foods out there that cause inflammation. All those processed foods cause inflammation in the body. So omega-3, these essential fats are important for brain function, emotional well-being, reduce inflammation in the body, including the brain. A Scotland study in several depressed patients in between 70 and 80%, they became normal in mood after supplementing with omega-3. That was by Dr. Horobin. And how many servings of fish should we be eating a week? 2 to 3 servings a week. Most people eat none and maybe one. So it is a challenge. And now they're even telling pregnant moms not to eat any, because the concern about mercury, lead, in the fish. Essential fatty acids can also help to regulate our hormones. So if you're deficient in omega-3s, your whole hormonal system becomes unbalanced. Foods that are high in omega-3, such as salmon, tuna, mackerel, anchovies, and sardines, best sources of omega-3, because it's already in the right form in your body to absorb, and it just works better. Eating bad fats displace the good fats, so you become more deficient as a result. So really want to take a look at this. So more benefits of omega-3: controls inflammation, a youthful brain, supports healthy eyes, great for mom and baby for postpartum depression. We've had amazing results with moms that were struggling with postpartum, increase their omega-3 salmon oil, and they just have an easier time. So this is so important, even for pregnant moms. And even the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, when they were looking at fish oils, they looked at the Neolife salmon oil, and they stated that it was safe for pregnant moms. A lot of fish oils out there are just not safe. And they are creating fake fish oils. This is scary. People, it is the number one counterfeit nutritional supplement out there right now. Okay. So again, the Neolife salmon oil has all 8 omega-3s, clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks, zero toxins, a healthful salmon dinner's worth of omega-3. So, Maryellen, what's another challenge that we're having, especially I find this generation? Everybody's in a hurry, on the go, on the run, the most important part of the day, right?
That's right. And
That's right.
especially
And especially
a lot of people are doing like intermittent fasting. They don't even eat breakfast. It is so, so important. But what do most people eat? I know before I thought cereal, toast, bagels, tea, coffee. That's what we ate all the time for breakfast. And but you think it's all carbs. And when you look at our kids, it's even scarier because what do they see on TV all the time? All the commercials for these lovely cereals. And they usually eat carbs, pancakes, waffles, or nothing. But where is the protein? They need the protein for the brain. So, so important. That's why you hear teachers say that kids crash mid-morning because they don't have protein for breakfast. And then you look at what sugar does. Sugar in the immune system and mental health is so related because sugar creates what? Inflammation, right? So that's what a big issue. And this was from the author of the book, Lick the Sugar Habit. And she talks about the fact it can suppress our immune system, repair defenses against infectious disease. It also can start less than 30 minutes after ingestion and last up to 5 hours. It causes food allergies and it can contribute to anxiety and depression. So that's a big connection right there. And when you look at our Neo Life Shake, this is a great breakfast for kids. Like my grandkids had it since they were babies. And it's high quality protein, which provides building blocks for proper growth and development, has more protein and calcium and vitamins than milk. It's biologically complete. Now, that is very, very unique. I've never seen another product with all 22 amino acids. It also has 25 essential vitamins and minerals, 18 grams of high quality protein, and 5 grams of fiber, which is so important for, again, the microbiome. There's no artificial anything, no artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, preservatives, and it tastes amazing. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberries. So easy to get kids to drink it because you just tell them they're drinking chocolate milk and they love it. And the key with it, which makes it most important, is it regulates blood sugar. A lot of you have heard the term hypoglycemia. What that just means is your blood sugar is too low. And what it can cause, hangry, you hear that a lot, shaking, moodiness. And it's also common when our hormones are off balance. So the Neo Life Shakes are great and easy to make, and they help to regulate blood sugar. They were proven to have glycemic response. And amino acids are what? They're the precursors to those neurotransmitters we talked about. Very, very important. You can't make them without the amino acids. And here's showing how our blood sugar should be. It should be like that blue line in the middle, just like a nice rolling, like small hills, and right in the zone. But the problem is most people are in the red zone. They're up and down and all this. It affects mood. It can cause anxiety. If you can keep your blood sugar steady, it helps with weight loss and it's fantastic for diabetics, prevents fat storage, fat burning, and it gives us consistent energy. And as I mentioned, if you're tired, it can lead to depression. And what's not inside, like we said, there's no artificial anything. And there's a picture of my grandkids when they were little. As soon as they could drink out of that sippy cup, they were drinking it because you think it's non-GMO, it's all natural, no cholesterol, fats, gluten, preservatives, high fructose corn syrup. It's just such a win-win for kids. And kids can actually have it with their breakfast. And it's a great compliment. And Anna, do you want to share your nephew Nash's story?
Yeah, Nash, he came to me at Christmas a couple of years ago, and I asked him if I can videotape him because it really was a beautiful story. So here's Nash. I'm here with my nephew Nash, and he just shared something personal with me today, and I just wanted for him to share it from his heart. Nash.
Hey guys, so I've been on Pro Vitality most of my life because of my aunt. She's always had us on the products. Because of personal reasons in COVID and everything, I stopped my auto ship for about 8 months. And about 4 months in, I started feeling like severe anxiety at work and at home. And I've never had any sort of issues with that in my entire life. So it was really weird. I almost had to go on stress leave for several months because of this. And one day I realized that I hadn't been eating properly or taking my Pro Vitality or my protein shakes in the morning anymore. So I asked my mom if she had any on her. I think I was 2 weeks in, and all my anxiety was gone.
And then we have Sean McCullough as well, who has a really great story.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean, and today I'm going to briefly share with you my mental health testimonial before and after the Neolife products. So when I was about 18, I started to have very severe panic attacks. I would have about probably 12 in one day. It got very bad. And I started to take the vitamin B, and it was one of the catalysts to helping my anxiety levels reduce quite a bit, help with my social anxiety, help with like kind of racing thoughts and things like that. So I could, I went from not being able to go in a grocery store essentially to being able to function in a regular social setting with groups of people. And in my earlier 20s, I would say, up until maybe about a year or two ago, started having kind of these dissociative episodes, suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideations that did put me in the hospital under what's called a Form 1. And I was actually advised to get off of the B complex amongst other supplements I was taking at the time. And that turned out to be a terrible decision because it snowballed in a negative way my mental health. I put myself back on them, and my mental health it stabilized it with the use of some pharmaceutical kind of medication that I'm on right now, but it helped to stabilize things. And not visiting the hospital, I'm not having any suicidal ideations anymore. So I have a lot to thank Neolife for, quite honestly. And I would definitely recommend these products to anybody who's suffering with any sort of mental health conditions.
That's our lovely Sean. So that's the power of good nutrition. And it really does start with our children. I'm so blessed and so grateful that both my boys grew up on the products. The liquid vitamin for babies contains those grain oils, and also the fruits and veggies, those carotenoids and flavonoids that help with the microbiome. The Vita Squares is chewable. The Vita Guard is like your antioxidants. Again, more fruits and veggies, so they can go from the liquid to the chewable. And protein shake, hands down, is one of the first things as soon as they can hold a sippy cup. And I remember when Luke went to high school, his first year, he actually asked me something, and I was kind of shocked that he did. He said, Mom, he goes, a lot of my friends are talking about going on antidepressants and they're feeling, that they need to. He goes, do you think that we're not, because we've been on these products our whole life? So it was really nice to hear him say that and understand the importance of this amazing good nutrition that they grew up on. And then there's stress. Who here feels that stress could play a huge, huge factor? Well, yes, that could also play a really, really big factor. And B vitamins, that's something that really helps Sean and some of the other testimonies that you're going to hear tonight, because it does help to regulate the mind and the mood. It's water soluble. It gets depleted very quickly. So that's why it's really important to supplement. And it does increase, the needs increase due to stress, infections, medications, and birth control, alcohol, caffeine. So definitely a very important nutrient that helps. And the Neolife B complex is very unique. It begins with nutritional yeast, but good yeast. And it's complete. It's a complete family. And it just really helps to balance the natural ratios to avoid the high intake of B vitamins, which might induce deficiency of others. So we give you all of the Bs together in a family. Zinc also, the human body cannot store zinc. I found that kind of interesting. Regular intake through the diet and supplements is needed. Sorry, the diet is needed. Also, zinc protects the brain, the mitochondria through antioxidant activity. In fact, zinc has been found to have antidepressant effects by itself, or to help increase the efficacy of antidepressants. So one of our doctors did an amazing talk just the other day and really spoke highly of zinc and playing such a big role in mental health. So this is something that I would highly recommend to add. And Heather is not here with us this evening. She's actually, I think, at pickleball. She's such a very active lady, and she sent me her testimonial. I just feel that I need to share this with you. I was a school teacher for 25 years. I found it very stressful by the time I was in my mid-50s. I was feeling overwhelmed and hopeless. It was hard to get through my days. I tried to hide it, thought I should be able to handle my job and my life in general. I felt that I wasn't strong enough. It was evident to the people I worked with that I wasn't coping. Some days I didn't even recognize myself. Finally, it was too much. I crumbled under stress, diagnosed with clinical depression, and was off work on stress leave. I was under psychiatrist care and was prescribed antidepressant medication. I'd been taking the basic health pack from Neolife for a few years and had learned about the power of nutrition for physical and mental health. I felt that I didn't want to go on pharmaceutical route if I could help it. I consulted with a naturopath who approved my Neolife supplements. In addition to the basic breakfast solution, I increased my Super B, salmon oil, aloe vera, and added herbal rest and relax. Self-care became my priority, with attention to rest, counseling, stress management, diet, and exercise. After a year off work, I was given the okay by my doctor when I went back to work. Since then, I've never had a relapse and can truly say I experienced joy in my life every single day. I'm so thankful that I could give my mind and body what I needed to heal with trusted and proven products from Neolife. It's important to realize that we can't do it alone. By sharing my story, hopefully I can help others in their journey to complete wellness. Isn't that a great story? We all love Heather. And then there's Megan. Megan's going to share her story as well. We have so many stories. We had to pick just a few guys tonight.
Hey everyone, my name is Megan. I apologize I wasn't able to get on this evening to give you a live testimony, but I wanted to come on and share my little story about taking Neolife Whole Food supplements. I started taking these products approximately 2 years ago, and I've noticed nothing but amazing changes in my life. I actually just started in January of this year as a promoter, but I originally started taking Pro Vitality with the goal of supporting my mental health and improving my mental health. With that being said, with the support of my doctor, I was actually able to go off my mental health medication, so like my anxiety and depressive medication, and I've been solely relying on my Pro Vitality, and it's actually been crazy to see the difference that whole food supplements can do for you. So if you are having any concern.
Oops. Not sure what happened there, but there we go. And then there's Lori. Many of you know my dear friend Lori Bateau. Long
I wanted to share
might.
probably the worst I've ever been in my life. And I was on many medications for anxiety and depression. And I knew that's not the kind of life I wanted to live. So I was introduced to NADA by a friend, and I got started on the products. I think I was taking vitamin B, the Tran-N, and the protein shakes. And with the assist of my doctor, within about 3 months, I was weaned off all my medications and feeling like I'd probably never felt before, because I think I suffered from depression probably since I was a very young girl. So it was a whole new way of living for me. And ever since then, I've
Lori's been doing
taking
amazing.
products.
And I think we added the fish oil too. You made it
Eventually,
Eventually.
Yeah.
But I think the Tran-N
Yeah, the Tran-N and the vitamin B at the time was I think the two key.
So that's just a few stories that we have. And Maryellen, there's so much more we can do. I know we know supplements are good, looking at our diet and our food, but what other things can we do?
Yeah, their lifestyle changes can definitely help. And remember, this is a journey. You don't have to do all of this in one day, but you can start incorporating a couple and then build on it. Things like meditation, deep breathing, and yoga are very calming. They calm that stress, that fight or flight response. Exercise and stay active. It's so important because you feel so much better when you work out, or even like you mentioned, Heather, at pickleball, just being in a group of like-minded people makes you feel so much better. Things like diet, we talked about controlling those blood sugar levels, dehydration, drinking your water. Be careful of chemicals. Chemicals and artificial flavoring and colors the toxins can actually affect our brain health. High sugar diet, as we talked about, can impact temperament and moods. So what do we do? Stay hydrated, eat lots of vegetables, very, very important, fruit and lean proteins. Supplementation, one of the key ones, of course, is those omega-3s. Try to avoid alcohol. It's a sedative, but it can make things worse later, especially if you have sleeping issues. Sometimes you go to sleep faster, but then you wake up in the middle of the night when the liver starts having a party. And avoid smoking, same as above. And the earlier you started smoking, the more chance you have of anxiety, because you think it depletes nutrients in the body, things like vitamin C and many other nutrients. And of course, get adequate sleep. So, some tips like set up a sleep routine. Don't get off your phone before bed at least a few hours. Some people find aromatherapy very helpful of calming and relaxing, things like bergamot and lavender. Drinking chamomile tea before bed works with many people. A lot of people find support like journaling, prayer, positive affirmations, and gratitude lists all make them, help them deal with stress. And remember, home remedies may help ease anxiety, but of course, they don't replace professional help. Increased anxiety or depression may require therapy. So if you have this situation, be sure to talk to your doctor about your concerns, of course. And seeking professional help is a strength, it's not a weakness. If you need it, absolutely do it. And it's amazing how much the role vitamin D plays, because a lot of people just think vitamin D is for your bones, but it's also a great way to lift your mood naturally. And, in the perfect world, we could be out in a bikini 20 minutes a day without sunscreen or blockers. But we live in North America. And, although it was sunny today, I definitely was not out in a bathing suit. And it's very difficult in winter. And this is where supplements can play a role. I do recommend you get your vitamin D levels tested, because they say anywhere from like 50 to 250 is normal, but you want to be in that higher, at least in the mid 100s. In Canada, they actually have different things than in the US, the way they rate it. So, but in Canada, like a good ratio should be about 120. Research suggests that you're 11 times more likely to be depressed if you're deficient in vitamin D than someone who is not deficient. So very, very important. And Neolife has an incredible vegan D. I have so many people, they get on actually I had a lunch with a friend today, and she told me my vitamin D levels were low and I got on the vegan D, and it's perfect now because it has a proprietary blend of vitamin D3 and D2. It's naturally sourced and it's made from food. Our body recognizes food. It does not recognize lanolin or sheep fur, that's not the sources that we usually put in our body. And it's a unique plant source combination, high potency, safety, quality insured, and it's been tested to make sure it gets into the body. And acidophilus. We talked about that brain and gut connection. That microbiome, you're hearing that everywhere now. Well, there's new research that suggests there's a significant link between the health of the gut and its bacterial population and mental health. Through processed foods, sugars, medications, antibiotics, preservatives, bad bacteria takes over. Even drinking tap water with chlorine can cause problems. Oftentimes people find a candida cleanse. Neolife has a very simple cleanse. You just use garlic and acidophilus, and it helps to rebalance the gut or our detox. And acidophilus plus is targeted delivered. What that means, it gets past the stomach acid and down into the environment where it's needed. So that microbiome, The food and supplements work by increasing the gut microbiota and reducing harmful gut microbes. So in other words, you want a balance of the good and the bad. You don't want the bad to take over. So what helps with that? Probiotics. You hear that a lot, like the acidophilus. Consuming fermented dairy products. Prebiotics from fruits and vegetables. And this is where that 10 servings of fruits and vegetables is so crucial every day. And even spices such as curcumin and cinnamon, they actually really help support the gut microbiome. And it is really hard to get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. Like, I kind of consider myself as a really healthy eater. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and I still don't get near 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. You have to eat all day. It's really difficult. So this is where the Phyto Defense can fill that gap. It's 6 servings from 25 different fruits and vegetables. And when you go grocery shopping once a week, what happens by the end of the week? Half the vegetables have lost most of their nutrients. So in this little pack, there's 3 carotenoids. That's all the dark red bell peppers, peaches, apricots, all those dark colors that boost immunity. There's 2 flavonoids. Flavonoids are the vibrant ones like cranberries and blueberries and all the ones and they actually help support our blood vessels as well. And then cruciferous. Cruciferous are the smelly vegetables like broccoli and bok choy. And all of this helps to fill that gap to boost and balance our microbiome. And Nada, do you want to share how those energy drinks are causing so many problems?
Yeah, they're causing so many. I did not realize how bad this was until Neolife launched our amazing energy drink. But man, there's been a drastic rise in emergency visits in the hospitals, tenfold increase in hospital-related emergency room visits due to energy drink consumption. So many doctors are saying that they're dangerous. They can be dangerous to your health. And Neolife's Elevate is so amazing. It's delicious. It's formulated with ingredients to boost physical energy, improve mental focus, and support balanced mood while hydrating the body. So it's not just for energy, fabulous for your brain. Some of you know Frances. I remember her telling me that when she started drinking this, she found that she used to get this feeling of being overwhelmed in the afternoon and really struggled with tasks and what she would do next, and started drinking this. And she said all that feeling of being overwhelmed is gone. So we're getting some pretty amazing testimonials. It tastes fantastic. So this was something that really, really helped her, and she's just so grateful that Elevate is part of her regime now. So we talked about a lot of supplements. I know Maryellen, you and I looked at this whole system, and even when I talked to Dr. Beck, she said you don't have to start on everything. Like, pick the core 3. Start with the core 3 and see what it does. Do it for a month or 2. Some people might need to add extra fish oil. Sometimes you might need to add some more of that good bacteria or aloe vera. And if you're not a big fruit and veggie eater, you might want to take flavonoids or cruciferous, or even how they can come in that amazing Phyto Defense pack. And then glucose support has the curcumin and the cinnamon. And then there's the zinc and the super B. So, I really recommend just sitting down and talking with the person invited you, and maybe discuss about, the challenges you're having and what system would work best for you. But start slow and see what it does. Sometimes even the breakfast solution alone, like with my nephew Nash, he found that, and adding zinc was really, really helpful. So this is our core 3. You have 2 protein shakes a day. 2 protein shakes in the pack, and the Pro Vitality with Elevate. You do all this once a day. Tastes absolutely fantastic. That protein shake is so good. So if you're kind of wondering, well, how do I get started? It's free to become a member of our wellness club. As soon as you become a member, you automatically get a 10% discount. You can even get a 20% discount by going on a monthly order. So for example, that core 3 is a month supply. If you're having it every day, you want it coming every month. And that's why you really get the benefits by being consistent, and you get the better discount, 20% off. You can also get all your shipping back for being a loyal customer. And with the referral program we have is, if you refer 3 people to the core 3, yours is free every single month. We also have fitness challenges and weight loss challenges. And there's another option. I'm not going to get into all the details or aspects of the business. When I looked at this over 33 years ago, I was not looking for an income opportunity. I was working as a police officer. I thought that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was just tired and stressed. And And I saw the impact the products made. If you or someone you know really enjoys helping others, there's an amazing income opportunity. And that's where the journey that I took. I was so grateful and so blessed. I started to share with family and friends, and my income grew, that I was able to leave my police career. So just ask us and we can help you understand just how you can do that. Because for as little as $98 in Canada, you can start an amazing business. So if you're just looking at trying the products, give them a try. It's free to become a member. If you're curious about the income, just reach out and we can show you how that works. And if you just want to learn more, that's okay too. There's so much to learn, and impacting lives is what we do. So I do want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I'll stop the recording and open up to any questions that you may have. Thank you so much, Maryellen, for joining us this evening.